Welcome to Wake Up West Palm, where we talk all things downtown West Palm Beach, and you get to meet some of the incredible people and businesses that make up our beautiful community. And today I am joined by Bernardo Neto, the general manager at the Ben Hotel.
Thank
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Kate.
Actually, thank you for having us. We are here in the beautiful rooftop at the Ben Hotel, and this is kind of like your home away from home.
Sure is. The Ben's been here since 2020 in downtown and reshaped this north of Clematis Street neighborhood. And we've been very well received by a lot of locals that come to our restaurants, stay in our rooms, and we look forward to having another beautiful season.
Yeah, well, it's a gorgeous hotel, the best place downtown to be. But before we dig into everything, we want to hear a little bit about you and your background, because you've been in the hospitality business for over 2 decades. You've been in Vegas and the Four Seasons, lots of luxurious places. So tell us a little bit about your background.
What I personally love history. So the Ben has a strong story that connects to the history of West Palm Beach. So an autograph collection of hotels there's over 300 hotels in the world that belong to this collection. This collection's under the Marriott umbrella. And each hotel needs to have a unique story that is unique to that hotel and to that city. And that story cannot be replicated and cannot exist already somewhere else. So when they looked to develop that in West Palm Beach, they found a story about this lady called Bird Dewey. Her real name was Julia. And most of the historical figures are masculine, are men. But in this case was a lady that was a very savvy business lady, made a lot of money flipping land from farmland, from swampland. And then she also wrote a bestseller book called Bruno, of which is a book about her dog. She was gifted a dog when she moved from Kentucky down to West Palm Beach in the late 1800s. And initially in the book, you can see her or read her talking about how they didn't like the dog. They tried to get rid of the dog 3 times in the book, but every time they get rid of the dog, they had bad luck on their travels. And then her and her husband, they're like, we better keep the dog around. And then eventually they become huge dog lovers and advocates. And she was at the beginning of the very first dog advocacy groups in Florida. She was part of that. She wrote a bestseller book, as I mentioned. She also wrote, she was a great culinarian. She cooked and wrote recipes to the Cosmopolitan magazine.
That is what a savvy woman.
In the late 1800s. She was the co-founder of Boynton Beach. And she really has a unique story, and she had a home over here just south of us where the Rapallo condominiums are. And that home, she named the home the Ben Trovato. The Ben Trovato is an Italian expression that goes, "Se no è vero, è ben trovato." That means in English, even if it's not true, it's a story well told. It's a well-embellished story. So it's not a lie, but it's a well-embellished story. So it's the story about somebody catching a fish, and every time they tell you the story, the fish gets bigger.
Yep.
And then you're like, you know what, it's a great story. I don't care how big the fish was, kind of thing. And Mrs. Dewey, Mr. and Mrs. Dewey had these characters of the time that lived in this land, because this was all, Everglades stopped over here. Anything south of here, there was no civilization. In the late 1800s when the Henry Flagler came. So they lived in this house where they had stories about, barrels of rum washing up to the shores of the beach, seeing sharks and alligators for the first time. It was a wild time. And she heard these stories, and she's like, I don't know if I should believe half these things, but Ben Trovato, it's a name that she put into that house. And that's the name that we bring alive in everything we do here. So
that is so cool. I love that there's such a unique story around this hotel, and the fact that you infuse that story in all of the ways that you decide on menu and the things that you do here and what you bring to the hotel.
Sure. The easiest way to think about it is that everything in this property is done with a purpose to connect to that story.
Yeah.
So we see beautiful finishes downstairs in terms of design, and then you see exposed concrete walls. Well, that's the difference between a very highly educated, nice, rich finishes, an educated lady that came to a really rough part of the country, a really rough part of the country. So that contrast exists in design. The music that was picked, some of the music that plays in the lobby is an homage to some of the early jazz tours that happened in early Florida. The name Spruzzo of our upstairs rooftop is an Italian word that means jumping in the water quickly, going for a quick swim. And Mrs. Dewey traveled in Italy when she was young, so this is a connection to that. And even the name of our house car is Bruno, of which is the name of the dog. Our chef, Marc Rosen, developed a puppy room service menu. Our puppy guests get the same bathrobe that our human guests get, but it's just size for the puppy. They get a little bed.
Welcome to West Palm Beach.
They get the same experience over here at the Bend because it's in this hotel, that story of the dog and the puppy, Mrs. Dewey puppy, is really something we try to bring alive.
Well, Mrs. Dewey, what do you think she would say if she visited the hotel today?
I think she would say my description of her history is kind of a Ben Trovato. There's a lot of, it's accurate, but I keep adding things every time I mention it. Yeah.
Well, you do have such an interesting background. Are there things that you learned in your past and working with all these other hotels that you love to bring with you?
Sure. So I started my career working for, big companies like Starwood, and then I worked for many years with Four Seasons, and at the highest luxury level. So I felt I learned the big corporate world, and then I learned the very high-end luxury, but you still couldn't be yourself, your full personality self. They're very scripted environments where you gotta do things in the same way here, Chicago and New Orleans. And I felt the guests want something more unique. If they travel, they wanna get a flair and a flavor of that city, that destination, right? So when I worked at Park MGM, I saw really what a soft brand, what a unique storytelling hotels have to be. And really, the way we approach that here at the Bend, and I tell this during every new hire orientation, I tell a server that their job is not to deliver food. I tell a cook that they're not cooking, and I tell a housekeeper that they're not here to clean, and they look at me confusing, and I say, we're not in the hotel business, we are in the entertainment business. We have to tell stories, and serving a great meal in a clean room with a smile is just the beginning. You really have to infuse this kind of charm and flair to things for guests to really be memorable, to remember you.
Yeah, so. Well, you can definitely there's definitely this vibe that you get when you walk into the hotel, and obviously that trickles down when you are eating at the beautiful restaurant here and the food that we get to enjoy. So let's bring on our guest and hear from Marc Rosen, who is the executive chef here at the Bend.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, my pleasure. How are you?
The true VIP.
The true VIP. So this is very exciting. Now, you have been at the Bend for how long?
Just over 2 years now.
Tell us what you love about it here.
What's not to love?
Right?
I mean, seriously, the freedom to create, to have, the passion you have as a cook, to create great food, great teams, great executive. I mean, the company, everything about the Bend is a wonderful experience. You drive to work wanting to come to work because there's so much fun to be had. We have a great team overall. We have a lot of fun. We work hard. It's just a joy. We change the menu. We create specials. We just have fun with food.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Just to create and see the guests enjoy what you make.
And you've been in this industry for 40 years?
Give or take.
Like 40, between the two of you, I mean, we got the experts
Yes.
right here.
Who's counting?
I stopped counting a while ago.
But your experience, tell us a little bit about your background, because you as well have great experience in lots of big cities, and you worked in New York for a long time.
Yeah,
You got to cook for some celebrities over the years.
Well, I got lucky in the places I worked. I spent about 17 years in New York City, and the old Russian tea room back in the day. It was a celebrity in there every day. You know, from Barbra Streisand to, Dolly Parton. I mean, you name them, they were there. And I worked at some other great places, New York Grill, Demi on the Upper East Side. So I spent a lot of time there, really honing my craft for, I guess you could say, the future. And working with some great people and just learning about the business. And, I work as well as Bernardo, I worked in Rhode Island for a while. And actually, I think we were there at the same time and didn't even know it.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
You guys were destined to work together.
I was interning at the Western Providence, and my job was to recommend restaurants. And across the street was the first Capitol Grill.
Yeah, the inaugural one. Yes.
The first one of the whole chain. It was very popular, and I used to send a lot of guests there. And the executive chef for that restaurant was Marc Rosen.
No way!
And I only found that out many, many years here when we were talking about. It was wild that I was recommending guests to go dine at his restaurant.
And now you get to experience his food firsthand. Now, how do you come up with the menu? Are there things that you, like, what is one thing on the menu that everyone needs to try when they come here?
Well, I pretty much get very general. We bring in the local and the freshest seafood every day, 7 days a week. We do a great paella here. We have a great grouper over pasta. Our crudo plate, our oysters are changed daily, from all over, and our seafood is amazing up here with a little Mediterranean, influence. We do a barbecued octopus, over petite greens and roasted potatoes. So sky's the limit. When it comes to up here. And downstairs, a little more composed, a little more Americanized with some influences. We have some chops and some steaks on there, and we do some great salads and some great sandwiches. I mean, we create, and I have great chefs too, that I let have fun.
Yeah.
And they have fun, and we put our heads together, and we just enjoy the creative part about it and the tweaking about it until it's perfect. And then, Bernardo does the taste test, and, it's the thumbs up, and then
I will volunteer.
All right, well, sure, we'll let you know.
With that?
Absolutely. So it's the process, but it's also, and that's the fun part about it.
Yeah.
You get to tweak and have, and that's the great thing about the Ben is we get to do what we love. No holds barred. Bernardo gives us the freedom to create the food and have fun with it and do what we want to do. And that's the best part about being a cook, a chef, call it what you want, is to, you have that passion to do it.
Yeah. Well, Bernardo was telling me about some of the crazy things that you have on the menu, like your famous Bloody Mary.
Yes, we do a $100 Bloody Mary. Up here, it's seafood based, king crab, lobster, oysters, caviar, salmon burger sliders, shrimp cocktail. Downstairs, a little more meat based with lollipop lamb, charcuteries on a stick, and they're about, feed about 6 people maybe, We do an over-the-top milkshake downstairs, which has pretty much, it's not a diabetic's dream, let's put it that way. It's amazing, Like I said, we create, we have ideas and we go with it, we like it, We make our own hot sauce here called the Ben Hot Sauce. Which we created about 1.5 years ago. So we bottle it, we put it on the tables, and guests want to take it home. So that's great for us, all of us. When they want to, can I get a bottle to take home? Absolutely. Tell everybody about the Ben. And we're creating. I'm working on a homemade jelly for breakfast downstairs as we speak, and little jars, and every day is just something new and wonderful.
Now, you have lots of events here. People come and they get married. They have lots of parties, lots of events. I see there's a lot of networking events and things that happen here. So talk a little bit about what that looks like here.
We have the only ballroom on the rooftop in this area. So they got gorgeous panoramic views. So we have a lot of weddings, big destination for weddings. And then as you mentioned, there's a high concentration of nonprofit organizations and also financial firms. West Palm Beach was named the Wall Street of the South. So we've gotten a great influx of those type of companies that love to gather virtually and in person, and our rooms are a perfect fit for that. And while they're doing that, they're enjoying some of the best seafood and food that our banquet team puts together. And our motto in everything we do is exactly like nothing else, which is the slogan for Autograph Collection Hotels. So the challenge that I put onto our team is delivering a great experience is just the beginning. As an Autograph Hotel, we have to actually do a little bit different. We have to offer a little bit extra, and we do that in our meetings and convention side of things. We have a very strong sales team that's ready to welcome any inquiry and be able to imagine an event being a social event, of which we do a lot of bachelorette parties, baby showers. We also have downstairs at Proper Grit an afternoon tea experience, of which was a signature experience of Mrs. Dewey. There's a famous picture of her that's in the Historical Society over here at West Palm Beach that shows her and her friends in front of the Ben Trovato estate having a big tea party that they would use to visit, of which is to catch up with each other in the time that there was no cell phones, people weren't connected the way they are today. So the moments they share together, they really have to capitalize on that. So we do it in that experience of the afternoon tea, where chef and his team has created great little sandwiches and desserts, all made from scratch in-house. And the teas that we have, we partner with the tea master that cut genuine, authentic, custom tea blends for us. And we even have a Proper Grit tea, which is unique to this hotel.
The level of detail on everything that you guys do is impeccable. It's amazing. Anyone can come to the rooftop, correct?
Absolutely.
And enjoy?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we have a majority of our guests up here are local guests that just live nearby or come by and valet with us and have a great experience. It is the only place in town to be able to have this background, this gorgeous view, and we put up a great setting for that to happen with a really unique beverage program. We're now going to be featuring, in addition to everything we offer, we have a zero-proof cocktail line that's coming together with a vegan section in the menu. There's a lot of our guests, have an alcohol-free, and some of them even vegan too, free lifestyle.
Yep.
And we follow the lead of our guests. We pay attention to their requests, and we're always willing to create something new and have fun with it. And this is truly the reason why Marc and I and many of us joined this industry. We want to do something new. We don't want to do repetitive things, so we have an opportunity to really go wild at the Ben with that creativity.
And you have rooftop yoga.
We do Friday
some music up here.
Fridays, and so the activation that we do on property is really to think about that entertainment component. So we tell our guests that our food menu is got more seasoning than you're expecting. Our music might be a little bit louder, and the activations we have might be things that you wouldn't expect in an hotel, traditional hotel. But we have yoga on Fridays and Sundays at 6:30 a.m. We have DJs on Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays, where he plays some remixes, some tropical remixes of songs that we all love. So it's a perfect background for us to have an enjoyable afternoon with our friends.
Amazing. That is so awesome. And I can just tell you guys are so passionate about this industry, so passionate about the Ben. I'm sure the food is made with so much love and attention. You have a staff of how many people?
Altogether, about 42.
I mean, this is such a great community of people.
We set it up for success.
Yeah.
And every day is just more success. Like being on stage, and the crowd is our guests. We're just rocking out.
I love it. So if you are looking for a great place to get married, to have a party, to host your next networking event or meeting, then definitely come check out the Ben. It's so, I mean, you can't beat this view. You just can't. You can't beat the food.
Not at all.
And you can't beat the
down.
the team.
Yeah,
Can't beat the team. This is an incredible team.
Yes.
We are so grateful that you are here, and how lucky are we that we get to experience this right in downtown. And what a great place for a staycation.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Best staycation place.
You'll forget that you're in West Palm Beach, and you'll remember why you love West Palm Beach.
I love that. That's awesome. Well, Bernardo, thank you so much. We so appreciate you allowing us to film here, to be here. Thank you for guest co-hosting. Marc, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
For being here with us today and
Absolutely.
sharing a little bit about your experience.
Thank you.
And the food that you create. We didn't even talk about the doggy menu. You guys have to come check out the dog menu, though.
It's pretty unique.
Thank you.
Awesome. You guys are awesome. Come check out the Ben if you haven't. If you haven't, come to grab a cocktail, grab a delicious dinner, come do brunch, come do yoga, then brunch. Make a day of it.
Total experience.
It is an experience, that is for sure. Well, thank you all so much for watching. We appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you next time.